food producers are increasingly marginalized. What steps would you take to reduce the influence of lobbyists in our food system?
Enact the reform that we need to see within our own government to close the revolving door that we see through almost every sector of our government, where you have people who come from or work for these industries, maybe come and work in government for a little while in areas where they're supposed to be providing oversight, and then go back and benefit monetarily back into those very same industries that they were supposed to be regulating. So for example, obviously we see this in places like Wall Street, we see this in the military-industrial complex, we see this in different parts of our government, but it especially has an impact on the kinds of policies being pushed forward by the FDA, for example. We see this happening through policies that are included within the Farm Bill in Congress, where too often it is the small farms, the family farms, the organic farms, sustainable farms who are left behind, who are not made a priority. And it's because they don't have those high-paid lobbyists who have a seat at the table to advocate for them, bring forward their challenges and the opportunities that they want to be able to pursue. Members of Congress should not be allowed to go and become lobbyists, ever. We should have people working in these positions of public service, whether you're a member of Congress or a senior staffer or a appointed regulator or bureaucrat, who are there because they want to serve the interests of the people, not so they can go and get a big monetary payout. Look, members of Congress should not take PAC contributions from these lobbyists. Again, solely focused on how are these policies going to help or hurt the people of this country and making the best decisions possible for them. There's a lot of reforms that we need to take place to get this big special interest money out of our politics, and to make sure that our government is truly one that is of by and for the people. Thank you. Awesome.
So that's it for me.
We are on
Thank
schedule.
you. I think now I'm turning you over to the press.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yes.
Good morning, Congressman.
Let me just time check. We have a flight to catch very soon. Yes.
We understand. Very quickly here then, we're on New Hampshire's seacoast. Of course, it's a short shoreline, but our fishing industry has been heavily impacted by different restrictions, a catch-year program, and also just a typical decline of people that are interested in becoming fishermen because it is so difficult out there on those waters to make a buck. I know you've supported fishermen in the past. What would you do nationally to help the fishing industry?
Again, I think if we look at whether you're talking about local fishermen or you're talking about local farmers, too often because of these multinational trade deals, because of this globalized economic system, and a lack of emphasis being placed on local food, feeding people in the communities where they're gathering that food from, you see the result that you have, where you have people who are only sticking in this for the love of it, even though economically it's becoming harder and harder to do so. So through our farm policies, through our trade policies, we need to right that ship and actually focus on making it a priority for us to be able to help support and promote these local industries, these local farmers and fishermen and others, to make it so that it is not a choice between doing something that you love to support those you love versus taking a huge economic hit, but seeing that the benefit and the value for both has to continue.
Congresswoman, last night at the President's rally, he had Senator Rand Paul come up on stage, and he indicated he wanted the media to out the name of the whistleblower in the impeachment inquiry. What do you make of that? Is that appropriate?
I haven't seen those comments. My understanding is that it is illegal to out a whistleblower who does not want to be outed. Unless we maintain and ensure protections for whistleblowers coming forward, then we undermine the whole process and the value of making sure that those who are in certain positions within our own government who see something wrong, if they don't feel safe in being able to bring that forward, then we as a country and our people suffer.
What do you make of a U.S. senator saying that, though? I mean,
again, I haven't seen those comments, but I think it's a dangerous proposition to threaten and undermine the safety and security of whistleblowers coming forward.
And just to follow up, you're in the House. What do you make of these administration officials, denying subpoenas to appear before the impeachment investigators? Does that concern you?
It's concerning because it appears that they have something to hide. You know, this process, this inquiry is to answer questions about concerns regarding not only the conversation that Trump had with President Zelensky, but other activities around his administration related to Ukraine. And the American people deserve to have all the facts and the truth. If folks in the administration are refusing to participate in that process, frankly, it only hurts their position because it seems like they have something to hide and that they don't want to share the truth with the American people.
Congresswoman, you said before that you are running a lean campaign operation. In the third quarter, your campaign spent more on billboards than staff salaries. Is relying on that traditional advertising and unpaid volunteers a sustainable strategy moving forward? And is it taking advantage of those full-time unpaid volunteers to rely so heavily on them to promote your campaign?
We have an incredible army of volunteers who are dedicating their time, their energy, their resources because they are passionate and really believe about the kind of change we are seeking to bring as a campaign and the kind of leadership that I'll bring as our president. You know, this is, it's not a business, this is not an economic operation. This is about bringing people together who want to be here to actually be the change, who are here because they want to be here. They're knocking on doors because they are passionate and they really believe. It's not about saying, hey, how can I get a paycheck? So some are taking a day or two off from work, others are dedicating whatever time they have and energy to do so. And to me, that's a positive thing. That's an amazing thing to see people giving their own time, their hearts, their energy towards building this better and brighter future for our country.
Congresswoman, what has the reception been like from 9/11 families and first responder families as well?
I felt so humbled and grateful to stand with them right near Ground Zero in New York just a few days ago. Again, we had Tim Froelich, who was here today. I was with two gentlemen whose fathers were both killed in the aftermath of 9/11. They were both people who survived the attack, but who went back in and tried to help save more lives and then were killed in the process. I'm grateful to stand with them. I'm grateful that they have asked for my support, and I've committed to them to doing all that I can to get the information from our own government that will help to bring closure and justice to these families and first responders, and that will help ensure the national security of our country. To stand with them, to have their support, means more to me than I can express.
Why do you think you're the only candidate talking about this issue?
Great
And
question.
even food security. These
That's
are
a
very
great question.
two central, specific issues that you're campaigning on in the last couple of days. Is there a grand strategy for that? How
Maybe
do
you should ask them.
How do you extrapolate that to like a wider voter base even?
There is I think two central issues: food, that are of concern to every single person in this country, and national security, important to every single person in this country. These are two central issues that we're making a priority in our campaign because we're seeing the problem and we're bringing the solution. So I can't answer why others are not addressing this issue. It's a great question for y'all to ask them. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want this back, don't
Thank
you?
you. No, you don't want to take it on the claim.
Mark? I want to ask about Senator Rand Paul last night called for the disclosing of the whistleblower's name. Do you agree with kind of that perspective on things related to the whistleblower?
My own view is that whistleblowers, particularly those that are blowing whistles on action within the government, should be allowed to remain confidential, that they have a right to be private, and then the determination is made is what the whistleblower has spoken about, something which is confirmed by the facts or not. So going after the whistleblower, I think, is misdirected.
Senator, have you been briefed on this Mexico attack?
I have, yes, and I have another briefing this afternoon. I got a call from the White House last night, and they told me about what they learned at that point. The facts continue to get clarified, but obviously it's a great tragedy when any citizens, Mexican or American, in this case American citizens, are brutally murdered. And it's moms and children. This is really unthinkable. And I agree with the president when he says Mexico has to really knuckle down and go after some of these cartels and stop this escalating level of violence, and hope that if there's a way we can help in that effort, that we're called upon to do so.
Senator, do you think these folks were targeted by mistake, that they might have been a mistaken identity?
The briefings I have haven't suggested a motive, and so I really don't have an answer on that. I'd be surprised if it was a targeting, frankly. I think it's much more likely to be something associated with the business of the cartels. But I don't think we'll know until a full investigation is carried out.
And are U.S.-Mexican relations strong enough to do much about these cartels?
We have a good relationship with Mexico, and yet what's happening along the border with regards to these cartels and the increasing level of violence is a real concern to us and I think to the Mexican government, and how to deal with it. This has been something that Mexico's been working on for a long, long time, and there's still a problem, and it's getting worse. And so the president says, look, let's get serious about it, and has indicated that he'd be willing to help, and I think that's the right sentiment.
Can you tell us about this area? The Mormon Church has been in that area for a very long-standing time. Do you have concerns that other people may be targeted?
I don't know that any people were targeted, but it's a very dangerous area because there are drug cartels that are working along the border, and there are a number of American families that live in that area, and that's a great risk to many, many people, and particularly the idea that women and children are going to be brutally murdered. It's really unthinkable.
I have a quick question on the whistleblower. At this point, do you still want to hear from him or her, or do you think that there's enough testimony otherwise that kind of tells that same account?
You know, I'm not going to be giving advice to the House or to the individuals in the House that will be presenting a case if they decide to go forward with articles of impeachment, nor to the President's Council. I'll let them decide what they think is right. But I do think with regards to a whistleblower, they blow the whistle, then other people have to look in and capture the facts and then present those facts to the individuals that will make a final determination.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Jessica.